Hey guys! So I know you're probably thinking a few things right now, and they probably all sound like, what's going on? Who is this chick on my computer screen and what is she doing? Well, I can answer those questions. Firstly, I am Ashley from What's Your Story, and I am the new Saturday here at Totally Bookcest. So, so I'm really excited to be a part of this. Like, you just have no idea how excited I am. I love the Totally Bookcast girls, and when Harmony contacted me and she was like, "Hey, we need a new Saturday," I jumped on it and I was like, "Yes, I'd love to do it." So I'm here making my first video ever, and I hope it's not a complete failure, but I guess you guys will be the judge of that. So, um, okay, a little bit about me. I have been blogging for 3 years now. Well, it'll be 3 years in June. And obviously, I love reading. I love reading any kind of book. It doesn't really matter what age group it's for. Well, anything middle grade and above. Doesn't really matter what genre it's for. I just kind of love everything. I am more partial to like the paranormal and the romances though. Aside from reading and blogging, I like acting. I am an actress and I've been in numerous school plays, and I like singing and writing and music in general, and that's kind of me in a nutshell. So I kind of just wanted to get that little introduction out of the way and then move on to my video. So anyway, this week we're doing genres, and my genre is paranormal romance. No, it's not. My genre is urban fantasy. There you go. And the reason why I said paranormal romance was because there really isn't a difference between urban fantasy and paranormal romance. And that was actually something that Loretta, who is Tuesday, and she did paranormal romance. That was actually something that we had this really long conversation on Twitter about what is the difference, because it's going to make picking our books that much easier, to do our videos so we don't have the same books. And we found that the difference between urban fantasy and paranormal romance is the romance. In paranormal romance, the romance is the main plot. Everything else is secondary. And in urban fantasy, there's a different main plot, whether it's someone trying to take over the world or, I don't know, vampire revolution, whatever. That would be the main plot, and then romance would be a subplot. So that really helped me pick my books for the video this week, because I kind of just went through my shelves and I just like, okay, paranormal romance, and then I finally found a few urban fantasies, or what I would classify as urban fantasy based on that definition. So let's get started because I have quite a few books here. So, okay, here we go. The first book that I'm going to show you guys is Lightbringer by Katie McIntyre. And this book is about this girl, and she's basically, I guess for lack of a better term, because they don't really name her in here, she's like a reaper, and she can send, like, lingering souls into, like, the afterlife or whatever, and, she can see ghosts and stuff, obviously. And there are these kind of ghosts that they're like guardians or something. I forgot what they're called. Writers. And yeah, they're guardians of the lost, who are like these ghosts that kind of never moved on, and they have to the writers have to guard them because there are these other creatures that feed off of the lost. So they guard them, whatever, and the main girl, I forgot her name, Wendy, she kind of gets involved with the writers because there's this whole thing with like this white lady going on, and the lost are being eaten and stolen and whatever. So Wendy gets involved, and yeah, that's basically the gist of the story. There's a bit of romance in it, but it's a subplot, so that's why I definitely categorize it as urban fantasy. And I really like this book. It wasn't my favorite or anything, but I enjoyed it. And if you're a fan of ghost stories, then I think you would really like this one too. And yeah, like, it was just pretty good. So I would definitely recommend this one. Second book is actually also a ghost story, but in a different way, and it's Past Midnight by Mara Pernhagen. I really hope that's how you pronounce that. And Past Midnight is about another girl named Charlotte who can also. Okay, I don't want to say she can see ghosts. She just kind of has like this sensitivity to ghosts, but her parents are like TV show ghost hunters. I'm not explaining it right, but like they go to haunted houses or haunted places and they kind of like debunk the ghost myths, and they've come up with this theory that it's not really ghosts, it's just people, both living and dead, kind of leave behind this residual energy, and sometimes that can be the cause of these like ghostly phenomenons or whatever. But something happens while they're doing their show one day where they actually run into a real ghost, and it kind of affects the main character Charlotte. And so there's all this craziness going on in the story with like ghosts, and her parents are like, it's not really a ghost, you know, they're fighting against her, and she's trying to prove to them that it really is, and they need to kind of exorcise the ghost because it's haunting her. And it's actually a pretty good book. It's really short, so I think it's just like, yeah, it's like 213 pages, so really not a long read. And I got this, I forgot how I got it, but I got it somehow, and I wasn't really planning on reading it, but then I did, and I'm really glad I did because it was a good book. So Past Midnight. The next book is The Demon Trapper's Daughter by Jane Oliver, and this book is fantastic, absolutely phenomenal. It came out last year, and I think it was kind of popular when it came out, but it kind of died down a bit, which I'm sad about because it's a really, really fantastic book, and it deserves everyone should read it. It's about a little ways off in the future, in 2018, the whole world has basically gone down the toilet, and it's being overrun by demons. So demon trapping and demon hunting have become like legitimate jobs, you know, and actually jobs are really scarce because the whole world is in the toilet. So Riley, the main character, she is a demon trapper's daughter, as suggested by the title, and her dad is actually like a really good demon trapper, and she's learning how to be like him, but she's looked down upon by the rest of them because she's like the only girl. So something happens and something goes wrong, and I don't want to tell you what because it's pretty important, but something goes like majorly wrong, and so Riley has to kind of step up, and she has to prove herself, which she does because she's a total, like, she kicks butt, and that's one of the things that I love about YA books in general, when they have kick butt heroines, because that can just make or break a book for me, and she was definitely like on the ball. I really loved like, even in the midst of all this, Riley was like a pretty chill teenage girl, so that, like, it was kind of just interesting to read that, but I'm kind of rambling here, sorry. Anyway, so another really good urban fantasy, and the thing that I actually love about this book is there's definitely romance in there, but it's not there. It's like potential romance where you know it's going to happen at some point, but since it's not like part of the main plot, so it's just kind of like there, and it's with this really hot guy, and I love him. So you're kind of just like anticipating it, and you're like, okay, come on, kiss, but they never do, and you know it's coming up in like the next book, but it's anyway. The next book is The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have read this because it's Maggie Stiefvater and she's like amazing. But for those who haven't, it's basically about these two kids, one a boy and one a girl, on this island off the coast of Ireland. I think Maggie Stiefvater made it up, but it's pretty like accurate in general, where they have a race every November of these like man-eating water horses, which are kelpies, but they pronounce it like something different, which I cannot pronounce for the life of me in the book. And it's like really I mean, it's Maggie Stiefvater. Like her writing is like poetry, but in the form of prose. I mean, I don't know how she does it, but she does. And so like the whole story, it's kind of just like leading up to the race. So nothing major really happens, but just the whole world with like the kelpies and stuff, and seeing like the dynamic of like these weren't just like man-eating water horses, like they kind of had their own personalities too. Um, it was just like really interesting, and the two characters, Puck and Sean. I really liked Puck. She was also one of those kick butt heroines, but Sean was like really cool because he was like that brooding kind of guy that just he was he was pretty kick butt too, but in a really different way. Um, and it was just like a really great book. Like I read the whole thing in like one sitting, and when I finished it, I was like, wow, this is just fantastic. And there is very slight romance in here. It's like literally at the end, kind of almost like an afterthought. It's really not a focal point of the story, but it's in there and it's cute. And the last books that I'm gonna showcase for urban fantasy, I'm gonna show them all together because they kind of go together, is the Tale of Modern Fairy series by Holly Black, and that's Tithe, Valiant, and Ironside. And I'm not gonna hold them all up. I'll just keep them down there. These are like 3 books that they're not really a series in the general in like the sense that it's one continuous story. It's 3 different stories that kind of go together, and they like intertwine with each other, but it really has, it's all to do with like the magical elements in the story. Like it's about fairies. I know 2 of them are about fairies and like the Seelie and Unseelie court, and then one of them, Valiant, is about trolls, I think. Pretty sure it's trolls. And it's about like these characters trying to like find their way through this magical world that they were kind of just thrown into, and like they just kind of have to like cope with it. And in one of the books, she doesn't really cope very well, the main character. She kind of like hangs out with these drug addicts and whatever. I mean, they're actually really dark and like really gritty books. Like you kind of wouldn't expect it, but it's like really not your average fairy tale. And I really like them. I read them a while ago, but I still remember that I really like them. So I would, if you're looking for like a really dark fairy series, I would definitely get those books. So those are all the books that I have for urban fantasy, and I really had to look for those. Those are like the only ones that I found because everything else was paranormal romance, so that kind of sucked. But yeah, that was my first video for Totally Booksessed, and it was a long one too. So I think I'm just gonna cut it off right here because who knows if you're still even watching. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'm so excited to be on this channel, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.